romance novels are the #1 genre of books. Some of the issues that a lot of people are experiencing today is the lack of interpersonal processes. And I have today here Monica McCarty's Going Dark. It is book 1 in the Lost Platoon series. And what I loved about this book is it definitely shows a real life application of human behavior or human characteristics that have been taken and applied to fiction. So if there was ever any doubt as to how books or how stories can be taken from real life and applied into fiction, this is definitely one of them, and vice versa. So this story is about a Navy SEAL team that has been, for lack of better words, somehow betrayed. Obviously there's an accident or there's an incident. Members of the team are killed, others are lost. And it's about their mission on trying to find out what happened to their fallen brothers. But in the mix of this, they fall in love. The surviving members, or key people I should say, fall in love with a significant other. Now, one of the dating aspects that I've noticed that a lot of people struggle with is lack of interpersonal processes. All right, and I think Going Dark deals with that within the storyline of the Navy SEAL team. One of the things that I have to admit that I truly enjoyed, okay, is the chemistry between the two main characters. All right, and how strongly they felt in their opinions. If we take a step back, okay, and realize today with social media, today with the way things are going, with a lot of the technology that we have, there is a lot of things missing within that intrapersonal process. There's a lack of emotion, there's a lack of human contact. A lot of psychologists are predicting that this could be the fall of humanity because of the fact that technology has stepped in and we're relying on technology to solve problems. We're relying on technology to help us find our significant other. There's no interpersonal connection. The intimacy is not there. The human contact, that human element of dating isn't there. Hence the reason why romance novels are the #1 genre of books, of book sales. All right, and you can do a Google search and realize, you can do a Google search and find out what are the top 10 genres of any book sales, of all the book sales. And you'll see that romance novels are #1. Now, in previous years, they've pretty much stayed in the top 5, but sales have skyrocketed lately. I'd say in maybe the past couple of years, that now they are #1. Well, before, everyone accused, women of reading romance novels because they wanted to keep their head in the clouds. They didn't, they had these unrealistic expectations of relationships. That can't be true anymore because, again, a lot of the human aspects, the human behaviors and the stories are being taken from real life and adapted into these fiction novels. So clearly it's not just about keeping your head in the clouds, but people are reading a lot of romance novels because they're missing something in their relationships. And again, a lot of psychologists, a lot of sociologists A lot of people are speculating that technology has a main hand in that. Now, we narrow that down to the dating process, okay? Some of the issues that a lot of people are experiencing today is the lack of interpersonal processes, meaning the connection, the process that you go through in order to meet them. A lot of people are dealing with a lot of things, ghosting, cookie jarring, benching. I mean, there's so many different things people are experiencing, catfishing, that people are getting fed up. The dating process alone already has enough issues. It has enough obstacles. It has enough problems that we have to, cope with and manage with. Now, technology has just brought on even more. It's allowed people to be as ignorant as they want to be without any consequences. Now, I know a lot of people will probably have some issues about what I'm saying with technology. Don't get it twisted. I am not one of those people who think technology should never have evolved. All right? I love my cell phone. All right? I can keep in contact with my family. I can keep, read my emails. If I'm in trouble, I can hit GPS, Google, whatever. I love my cell phone. All right? I love my tablets because I get to read. I mean, there's so many things. So I love technology, okay? Hence the reason I'm also filming with technology. I'm not one of those people who feels that technology should never have evolved, that we shouldn't have this or that. But I think there should be boundaries with technology. I think sometimes, somewhere along the line, we have to balance out our human needs when it comes to technology and not allow technology to take over. We can't eliminate certain steps in that dating process because, hence, as you see with the romance novels and the book sales skyrocketing, we can't just allow technology to take over our human aspects or our human processes. There's still a lot that is involved in those human processes, and there's vital steps, there's a vital connection that is eliminated but causes problems later. And I think that can obviously be seen in the fact that romance novels are now in such high demand. So, with all of that said, the lack of interpersonal processes, I believe that dating element, that human connection, that chemistry that builds when you first see someone and you go up to them and you talk to them and everything, that's what's missing. A lot of times, everybody is on these dating sites and they're looking for this and they just swiping past this person, swiping back past that person. They're not really giving anyone a chance to get to know them. You're not going off of that chemistry because you'd be surprised what you think you find attractive and the person that you actually talk to, the chemistry could spark in either one. You don't know. That's the reason why a lot of people are like, oh my God, I can't believe he's with her. I can't believe she's with him. How is she with her? How is he with him? Their minds are just completely blown because you would not expect to find this person or that person dating somebody else that looks like it would be the complete opposite. That exists because of that chemistry, that human vital element that pops up. And it only pops up if you're able to be face to face with someone. Okay, if you can have interaction with them, that intrapersonal process of talking to them, having that eye contact, feeling that nervousness in your stomach, butterflies, getting the nerve up to talk to them. All of those things happen in that process, that intrapersonal process, and that's what people are looking for. Okay, so that happens in Going Dark. The chemistry between them, the two main characters, is just, it's amazing. And both of them are like, no, this person's not for me. They make judgments based on what they assume the other person would normally like. That clearly went out the window with the chemistry that was between them. Now, we do want to be careful that the chemistry doesn't go into straight lust, because that can happen as well. There's chemistry that only exists for, just a short period of time, and then there's chemistry that lasts a lifetime. And it's going through that dating process, that personal, intrapersonal process, that you find out which type of chemistry it is. Is it the chemistry that, triggers or sparks a relationship? Or is it the chemistry that fizzles out and it's like, you know what, okay, this is over with. But you're able to talk to the person. I think definitely that interpersonal process right there of being able to speak to somebody is eliminated. And that's why we have the ghosting. And people don't stop to realize, okay, you've now hurt someone. Whether or not you believe in karma, spirits, God, whatever, that stuff does come back. All right? If you're doing it constantly and then other people are doing it constantly and it starts to spread, eventually it's going to come back to you. That's just common sense. The more you send something out and people pick up on it and they begin to do it, it becomes a phenomenon. It becomes almost, a societal rule. We can forget trend. It becomes a societal rule. And now everyone's like, oh, it's acceptable. Just don't talk to them. You don't need to send them a message saying you're not interested. But when it's done to you, then people get highly upset. I can't believe this person did this to me. I can't believe they did it. Well, it all comes back to that same golden rule that people want to believe is traditional. It's archaic. All right, it's antiquated. It still exists. Do unto others as you want done to you. It's a very common process. It's that intrapersonal process. If you're treating someone else with respect, that respect is going to come back to you. Now, understanding what that respect is another whole story, and I'm sure we'll get onto that another time. That is definitely one of the things that I wanted to touch on. The other thing is, and it kind of leads into that, is they touch on, or Monica McCarty touches on feminine sensibilities, okay? And I'm sure this is going to ruffle a lot of feathers here, especially at this time right now with feminism the way it is. And do not get this twisted, all right? I am all for feminine rights. I am a strong advocate of feminine rights. I just want to put that out there, all right? I do believe, and I have lived my life where I've been independent. I still am independent even though I am married. I lead an independent life, and my husband respects and understands that I need to be who I am. So, with all of that said, I do believe with a lot of things that we have kind of gone politically lopsided. All right? We are so hell-bent on making sure we're equal and we're heard and we're this and that. Did you stop to think that maybe we've gone overboard? Not only should there be, I think, a balance with the feminine sensibilities, but also with the male sensibilities. I believe our political lopsidedness has come about where everyone is so sensitive. I think what triggers this political lopsidedness is the fact that people today are too sensitive about the words that are being used to describe someone's opinion. We have the freedom to have our own opinions on things. That's what this country was founded on. Allowing people to have their own opinions, the freedom to make their own choices. But yet, female, male sensibilities have stepped in, and now everything is political correctness. Be careful how you say this, lawsuit can come up. Be careful how you say that, you're accused of this. Now, I'm not saying that there shouldn't be any political restrictions. All right, there should be boundaries where, hence, there is no more harassment. There is no more racial discrimination. Okay, hate crimes. Yes, there is political need for those things. Laws need to be put in place for those things. But there should be a balancing somewhere as well. All right. Not everything that someone assumes is done to hurt someone. I'm not sure if anyone else has noticed, but I find myself that a lot of times if I'm in a conversation with someone, the first thing that they tell me is, "Oh, I don't mean this, I don't mean that. I'm not trying to offend you. I don't." It's like they have to defend themselves before they even say anything. And I also find myself doing that. I think that's when we need to stop and realize our sensibilities have gone too far. If before we have a conversation with anybody, we have to step up and defend ourselves to protect ourselves and not get sued or not get accused of having some sort of prejudice against them. And then next thing you know, we're in a lawsuit where someone is taking everything that we worked hard for. There has to be a balance, all right? Now, with that said, that's the thing that I enjoyed a lot about this book. They addressed it. They addressed the sensibilities and they dealt with, look, I understand where you're coming from, but this is how I feel about it. And that does not mean I'm disrespecting your sensibilities. I thought that was beautifully done the way she did, the way Monica McCarty did the book. It was beautifully done. And I think that should spark an awareness, drop some flags somewhere to say, you know what, maybe we need to step back a bit. Maybe we need to kind of check ourselves. Make sure that what we're saying is coming off the correct way. All right? Now, again, I know, and here we are. Here's a perfect example where, you kind of have to defend yourself because people will have, sensibilities that are offended. This is not meant to offend anybody. I am not trying to offend anyone just by pointing out what I've noticed. What I am trying to say, though, is maybe we need to be a little bit more understanding, okay? Understand that not everyone is out there to cause us harm or to be prejudiced. Maybe they're just curious. I mean, curiosity is also how we've gotten so progressively further. It's that curiosity, trying to find this question, trying to find the answer to that question. What's the answer to this? What happens if we do that? That curiosity is what has spurred a lot of inventions. It spurred a lot of talk that led to growth economically, socially, medically. There's so many different ways that those conversations have sparked growth. We see it in our everyday lives. So maybe we just need to take a step back and not be so sensitive about everything that's said. Find out. Ask questions. Be clear on the topic. Don't be afraid. But again, as I said, with that said, and here we go defending, with that said, that does not excuse, does not in any way, shape, or form excuse someone who does have that prejudice. someone who does have that prejudice needs to understand it's not acceptable. It is not acceptable, and that's where that political correctness, those political laws, comes into play. Political correctness should not prevent us from being the humans that we are. Civilized humans that we have developed into. It shouldn't stop us from being that. It should only stop those among us who can't develop or mature with that human growth. So, now that we've gotten pretty deep, okay, in this book, and some books, tend to get me there, but now that we've done that, I'd have to say Going Dark by Monica McCarty was an entertaining read for me. Even though there were some really great points and deep issues that were touched on that, delved into a lot of conversation, I still felt it was an entertaining read. The storyline was good. It didn't grip me and keep me on the edge of my seat. Character development, I thought, was done pretty well. But again, it wasn't one of those wow factors for me. It wasn't one that when I put it down, I was like, oh my God, this was such a good book. It didn't give me those feelings, okay? But even though it was an entertaining read, I thought that there was, again, a lot of personal psychology that was in it. I think that we can take from that and apply it in our lives and understand there needs to be a balance. And I thought Monica did an excellent job with touching on those topics that are very, very sensitive today, all right? And demonstrating the need for understanding, the need for patience and compassion that humans, us as human beings, if we're civilized, should have. So I thought that was done very, very well. So if you get a chance and you want to read more about the balance of these sensibilities, okay, pick up Monica McCarty's book, Going Dark. Definitely worth the read. All right, guys, so as usual, please subscribe, all right, so you can find out some other opinions that I have on different topics. And as always, if you like what I'm saying, if you don't like it, drop me a comment.